Hello, welcome to the When I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank, and I'll be sitting here talking to you for a few minutes. As usual, I'm wearing clothes. I'm wearing a 2B t-shirt and a Holden Caulfield hat. Anyway, our second favorite LOLcow, Ask Anna, Anna MS, has a new video called "What I Learned About Wealth Dancing at the Club." I haven't seen this. We are going to react together. Remember, she gives bad advice. I'm here to correct it. Just in case you follow it, I put you on the better path, not the right path. But the best path would be to just ignore her and me and just make your own decisions. But don't take life advice from a stripper. Anyway, let's see what Anna has to say.
Hello, welcome to my one bedroom penthouse. Today we are going to be talking about what the club taught.
Oh, I thought she lived in like a much bigger apartment. Actually, I didn't know it was just I don't know, just a one bedroom. I thought it was like a two bedroom for some reason. Because when she films in the other rooms, it looks a lot bigger. But oh, whatever. Did you think the same thing? Because like we've been watching all of her videos. The whole time I thought it was like a two bedroom apartment.
Me about wealth. Obviously, I'm not wealthy yet, but
Aw.
I have been around a lot of people with money and a lot of people without money, and especially in an environment where people are constantly
What the hell is she wearing? She's dressed like Hillary Clinton. But like if Hillary Clinton was in her 20s. No, no, no. That looks like Hillary Clinton in her 40s. But, she's trying to be sexy. Hillary Clinton in her 20s was I don't know, probably attending orgies with Bill, so she probably wasn't wearing anything. But anyway,
spending. There's a lot of psychological things that go into it,
right.
and I am
Yeah.
going to tell you everything that I've learned in my past 2 years.
Yeah, she's using notes that she wrote in crayon. Are you going to really listen to this? I should just stop the video. She is so proud. Anytime she uses notes, it's bad. And I swear I'm not kidding. One time she did have notes in crayon, so I'm not just saying that.
At the midnight ballet. I think the number one thing is that money does not buy generosity, and it does not buy longevity either.
Money does not buy generosity or longevity either. I don't. Well, if you have lots of money, it's your money. There's no reason. I don't care who you are. You don't have to be generous with your anything. So that's dumb. And if she means longevity like life, technically money can buy longevity because you can afford to live a healthier lifestyle. But let's see what she has to say. I know I'm just interrupting her because I'd rather hear myself talk actually.
There was this one guy who came into the club probably a month ago, and that's when I really realized this. And he had built a company using very cheap labor, and he had just bought a penthouse in a hotel down the street. I believe it was a St. Regis. He bought like, because they have several like on different floors, and then they have this whole program, I guess, where you have a community of people who live there. So he bought a floor at the St. Regis. He had his wife too, and he was showing me all these videos of him moving in.
Why is she putting her client's business on the internet? I'm just saying, when you're a stripper, I don't know. I just think it's wrong because like it's a small world. You don't know if someone's gonna put two and two together and go, hey, your husband is having this chick give him lap dances. She didn't have to go into detail about like which hotel he lives in and all that stuff, but whatever.
I think I may have gotten maybe $10 off of that man. Like he was not there to spend. And I did ask him a lot of questions about his wealth. And it came from like a really boring infrastructure thing. I cannot remember exactly what he did, but it was with building. But he had like a factory. I think it was in the US, I can't remember, but he just got really cheap labor, and that's how he was able to get all of his money. But the thing that I thought was very strange is he was telling me about his wife's suicide attempts, and
He was just trying to get into your pants. And why are you putting this out in public? God, this guy is gonna. Someone is going to because it's very easy to contact this person now. It's not that hard to figure out who it is. Don't be surprised if she gets backlash from talking about this guy in such detail. But I think if you're talking to a stripper about your wife's suicide attempts, I just think you're trying to get laid.
I said to him, I said, "Wow, you're that hard to be with."
Oh my god! Wow.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said.
See, and this is why I think she's an actress and why I think she's trolling, because that was a long setup for a joke. I'm a comedian. I know a setup joke when I hear it. This is a setup joke. This this is a pre-planned joke.
But the thing that I thought was very strange is he was telling me about his wife's suicide attempts, and I said to him, I said, "Wow, you're that hard to be with."
But yeah, she's trolling.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that. But
That was a funny joke though. That's a joke I would tell.
my point was just that money does not buy generosity. It does not.
That makes no sense.
And the longevity point, I think, is very important. I just want to talk about. Everyone always talks about new money and old money, but I feel like
I never hear people talk about this. I never heard this, but okay, go ahead.
old money can be new because when it's passed to the next generation and the next generation has not been taught discipline, has not had to live without money. Reaper, stop licking yourself. Okay, you're on camera. You can't do that. You can't do that, baby. I think he just needs a distraction. Hold on. Money can become new money when it's passed to the next generation, just because those people don't know how to handle it. So just having it does not guarantee the longevity. I want to say too, a good point of this, even if it is transferred to the next generation, it could be done through a will. So then the kid is like on their own for 40, 50 years before the parent dies and passes it on to them. I went to private school growing up. I went to a lot of schools. I went to a Catholic middle school. I went, Reaper, no, not on camera. You can't do that.
What the hell? Why not put the dog in another room if it's gonna be that much of a distraction? Lock the dog in the bathroom. Like, let the dog reenact your childhood.
No, no, you're wee wee. Don't let them see that. Chomp.
Riveting, very riveting.
See, he only like.
You know, is it just me or has she gained like a lot of weight? Just saying, right? We've watched all her videos. She's gained weight, right? Because she did say she stopped going to the gym because she was being harassed, which just means someone she didn't find attractive looked at her. But then she said the new man she's with, she went to the gym with him. So, but like I've said before, she's one sandwich away from being the stripper that performs at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sundays.
Likes it when you take it away. Anywho, I went to a private middle school and high school. My first year I was like at an all girls Catholic school with nuns, and then the last 3 years of my high school I went to the best school in Tampa.
Then how do you end up living like this? I have so many questions about her because it comes off as she has a good family because her family doesn't talk to her because she became a stripper. They're they don't disown her because they're mean. It's like, yeah, you don't want I mean, it could be a son or a daughter. Like, you just don't want your child working in the sex industry. And then when your child goes, you're just trying to control me. Well, you end up disowning them because your child lacks common sense. And she talks about her family like it's bad, but I hear nothing but good things. Like, if you're going to private school, you're going to the best school, your family doesn't approve of your job. That sounds like a good family, but whatever.
And my parents sacrificed a lot to do that. Unfortunately, there wasn't any money left over for my college, so I do have resentment towards them for that because I had to put myself through college and then
She resents her parents for putting her in the best schools because they couldn't afford college. That makes it makes sense. That is entitlement. That is the most first world problem I've ever heard in my life. I resent my parents for putting me in the best, private schools because they had no money left to put me through college. Give me a like only in America you would hear someone say that.
obviously I'm stripping now. But I think being around wealthy people was very good for my development. And while being in that environment in high school and feeling like I was always less than, it's so satisfying now being 25 and being 6, 7 years out of that environment and seeing where everyone ended up. Because some kids, their parents just cut them off. It's other kids, they didn't even know how to start their own career because they never had to survive without their parents. And then, oh God, there was this one girl I went to school with. She used to get all the parts in every play. She was in the choir. And I was on American Idol. I did a lot with singing. When I
She's still talking about being on American Idol. Millions of people have been on American Idol. You're not special. My ex girlfriend was on American Idol. I mean, I don't know. Like, who cares?
I went to that private school my last 3 years of high school, they never put me in the a cappella group. It was called Melodivas. I auditioned all 3 times. They never put me in it. Anywho, I looked her up like a few days ago because I was just going through all these people in high school that I was just like kind of wondering what happened to them. And then she was on Oprah, and she's done well for herself, but she was on Oprah talking about a story about her parents divorcing when she was in her late teens in high school. And then I was like, oh yeah, I remember you crying in choir class and everyone comforting you. And I was wondering what that was about. But now I know. And then sitting at a position of 25, and it's like, I didn't get the jump start to.
So, I guess she hit the wall. That's why she looks all weird. I mean, like, the wall starts at 25. It does. It starts at 25. So, you have 16 through 24. You have those 8 years to find a man you're going to marry, because that's when a woman is most fertile. That's a mother nature thing. So, between 25 and 30, that's hey, we better start taking things a lot more serious. And then after 30, if you're single, it's over. Well, I mean, if you're a woman, because your fertility is shot, you know. Oh well.
To be able to move to New York City and work for a company like that, but having to go through everything I have and surviving it, I have a lot better stories than my parents divorcing at 18 years old, 17 years old, and that being the worst thing that ever happened to me. But that's what I'm saying. Well,
I think the worst thing that ever happened to you is that you've been a stripper for the past 4 years. That sounds horrible. Her view of the world is so warped, it blows my mind.
wealth does not buy longevity. Struggle does. um, the people around you. Oh my god, looks like a. Okay, I'll get rid of my penis.
I was about to say.
There's more people around you with wealth than you realize it.
Oh
I think
God.
their real wealth is quiet.
Oh God.
Like, and it's easy to build once you have it.
Oh God.
I'm not gonna give y'all like lessons on.
You're fucking poor. What are you gonna say, dude? That's like me giving someone advice on like how to play basketball. Like if you listen to me, you'll become a pro. Even though I, can't even dribble. It just it makes no sense. She's a stripper giving you advice on how to be wealthy. What? Oh my god, please be trolling.
How to build wealth. Obviously, there's compound interest. You start your own business. You have stocks. Like there's a bunch of other things that you can do. Um, but more people have wealth than you realize. I think when you're at the bottom, you just think everyone's at the bottom with you, and it's true. Like it is very hard to climb out of that place. And if you're at the bottom, you're going to be working with other people too who are struggling with their bills. But more people are wealthy than you realize it. You just don't know it because their money is all tied up, hidden away, and invested. So you're not seeing the flashiness of it. Um, Rich looking cars are very easy to buy. Do not be fooled. There's so many men that come to the club and have these nice cars, but they're really not that expensive, especially now that you can lease everything. A Corvette is actually pretty cheap, and it's like a very fancy looking car. I've had many a man try to fool me with a used Corvette. It's not impressive. It is not impressive. So if you are a young girl out there, do not be impressed by their cars. Don't do it.
I think her saying, don't be impressed by a man's car, that is the first time she's given good advice. And I'm not exaggerating. All the videos we have watched of her, all the bullshit advice she has given, that is the first time she's ever given good advice. And that's saying something.
Because maybe if they own it, but even then, if it's a really expensive car, there's no reason why somebody should be driving an $80,000 car, a $100,000 car, unless it's like. Because if somebody's making $100,000 a year and then they go out and buy a $100,000 car, it's like I can't tell you at what percentage your car should be of your wealth, but just because somebody has a nice car doesn't mean they have money. They could have money, but I just think.
Okay, I've seen millionaires drive Honda Civics. I've seen people that work at In and Out drive BMWs. The car means nothing. There's some people who just don't care about cars. And so just because you're making whatever, let's say you're making $5 million a year. Are you going to really buy a Ferrari? Or are you just going to buy like whatever, a nice Audi? You're going to probably buy the Audi because people who are really rich, They're rich because they don't waste their money on stuff that they don't really want to use. So practical is usually the smart thing. So like, if you're rich, are you going to spend $30 million on a whatever 15 room mansion that is going to have 13 rooms that aren't going to be used? Or are you going to buy a nice 4 bedroom house in a gated community? That's, only $4 million. So, you know, I think the real lesson is don't be concerned about what people do with their money. Like, look how Bill Gates dressed. He's like one of the richest men in the world. He wears like Old Navy because what's the point? Like, I don't know.
There's just a lot of men out here fooling young women, and they should not be doing it. Um, Wealthy men in the club, like true wealthy men, and the best customers that you're going to have, they're going to pursue quality over quantity. One of my best customers, I've been seeing him for a year now. Yeah, I have another one too who likes me, but he likes a lot of girls. But the best customer, but he doesn't run a business either, because that one went through the traditional way of making an income and going to school and all that. But the other one, he is an entrepreneur, and he started out like dirt poor.
I can't imagine going to a strip club and she's my favorite stripper and I go to her whatever once a week for over a year. I mean, look at her. I'm being serious. She's really a stripper. Like, now I'm starting to question if she's really a stripper. Because she doesn't look like one. She really doesn't. Like, what's going on? Is this what strippers look like? I don't know. Like, in my mind, strippers look like, your stereotypical porn star. But I mean, like, famous porn star. Like, good looking. Um, More on the skinny side. I don't know. This woman is very confusing, and then she's basing all her advice on her life, and her life revolves around a strip club. So it's like, who is this advice for? Your average woman is not a stripper, so your average woman cannot relate to any of this stuff.
But it's quality over quantity. Like, he only sticks to me. There's been like a couple other girls, but the
So is she considering herself a quality stripper? Are you sure about that? What the fuck?
people who are just so quickly distracted by the next woman instead of actually investing in, well, not even, well, investing, yeah, but like
What?
getting to know a woman. And then, I mean, even with the dancers, it's not like a real relationship. It
No,
is, but it's not.
no, it's not. What the fuck? So she thinks these men are investing in her. Oh my god, like she's so warped. She's so warped. It's so unbelievable.
My point is, the high value men are going to stick to a handful of women, and the
A high value man is not going to go to a strip club. A high value man is not going to pay a woman like this to dance on his lap. A high value man does not go to strip clubs. I mean, that's just the bottom line. High value people are not associated with the sex industry. Just think of some of the best people you've ever known. Okay, well, okay, so like think of like some of the best women you've ever known. Just in your mind, what you consider a good woman. Was she a sex worker? Was she a stripper? Did she work in the porn industry? No. Think of a man in your life that you had a lot of respect for, that you looked up to, that was just like a really good person. Did he work in the porn industry? Did he go to strip clubs? Was he you know, hanging out with hookers? Was he with a different chick every 2 days? No, he wasn't. Okay.
The ones that are just out here scattering, throwing their money, it's probably new money. They're not going to stick to anybody for too long. So I don't look at that as true wealth. I would see true wealth as a man picking a couple girls and sticking to them in a club setting.
You're retarded.
The men who talk about having money, it's very possible that they do have it. I dated a multimillionaire for a year on and off, and
That let me translate that. He called me randomly and would ask me what I was doing, and I would say nothing, and then he'd come over and bang me, and then he'd leave, and that lasted for about a year. That's what that means.
I made a video about this and then I deleted it. uh,
We reacted
and
to it.
that was another point I made too. He talked about money a lot, but he came from extreme poverty. He was adopted and he had like 8 foster siblings. Then from his real mother, he had like 8 more siblings, and the original mother was a drug addict. There was, sexual trauma too that he went through. There was a lot that he went through, but he was always so obsessed with the money and he was always talking about it. And I noticed too, he would have these numbers he like really hung on to. Like he would always hang on to $800. Like, oh, I made $800 gambling today, or oh, I made $800 selling this exotic dog. Like 800 was always his number.
The guy had OCD. So what?
Well, it wasn't that exotic. I think it was a Doberman. I don't know. He always did like random things for fun.
Yeah, like you.
But that was his mentality because it was new money. You're either going to have two options with people with new money. If they talk about it a lot, it's because they really don't have it and they're trying to act like they do, and that's an insecurity on them. Or they have it and they just can't believe that they have it. It's going to go one of two ways, because that personality I'm telling you about with one of my exes, it was like if he wasn't constantly hustling, it took apart his self-worth, because how he saw himself was in what he was able to bring back with money. Like, it didn't matter how much he had in the bank. If he didn't make good amount of money for that month, it ruined him. That's why he always talked about it.
Just so everyone is into something. So, if you listen to this channel, I'm into K-pop. I'm into politics. I'm into making fun of Billie Eilish. I'm into the culture war. I'm into reacting to blondes that make YouTube videos to low subscribers and views. We all have our hobbies, and some people have a hobby, and that hobby is making money. There's nothing wrong with a hobby like that.
My favorite wealthy people are the
Lord.
ones who worked hard, like really hard, like the ones where it's like they didn't buy some crazy crypto or have some rich person fund them. Like my favorite wealthy people are the ones who grew something from the ground up, because I really feel like they respect money, and those wealthy people are going to be very generous with their money.
She is e-baking. She she's a moron. Like she's talking about clients that tip really good, basically. So once again, who is this advice for? The average person isn't a stripper. None of this applies to their everyday life. So why are you acting like this is sage life advice? Your life is viewed through the lens of a whore. Everything you do goes through a filter. Okay? So this is Anna. She's walking around and she holds up her umbrella, and then the rain filters through, and it filters through this whore umbrella, and it's just like tainted. It's toxic. Everything she talks about is toxic, except for her childhood, which she talks about her parents because they were good apparently, even though she says they're bad. And then her side job working at the ballet place. But everything else is just toxic because it's, sex work and sex work related. Now, if she would say, I'm going to give advice and you do the opposite, then this would be one of the best channels on YouTube.
I think systems and frugality gets you to wealth.
Oh, Lord, she learned a new word because I had more than two syllables. Frugality. Wow. Four-syllable word. Wow. Wow.
The quickest. The systems is going to be the biggest thing. I mean, even with me filming my YouTube videos, I've invested more into myself. I obviously got the camera. I just got a camera cover. I have the mic too. I ended up getting this king bed. I had a queen before.
Why do you have a king-size bed? And that's a king... that looks small. I thought king-size beds were a lot bigger. Anyway, if I was her, I would get a twin size bed because it's just her and the random client she brings home, and don't waste the space in this apartment because apparently it's just a one. It's just a one bedroom. I thought it was like a two bedroom for some reason, but why don't you get a smaller size bed and utilize the room? Or does she have a king size bed because she does orgies? What do you think? Yeah.
I'm so happy I got the king because he stretches out so much and I'll still wake up horizontal. But then I got a monitor, I got my Mac, I got like a Mac Mini. I switched everything over to the Mac Mini. I have my microphone. But now that I have like this whole corner set up, and the desk too, because I bought the desk and built it. Like now that this
No, honey, a man built it. You just read the instructions from IKEA and put it together. Calm down. All right. She's doing the typical woman thing where she's like, doing everyday things and going, it's an accomplishment. I take care of my kids. You're supposed to.
corner set up, it's so much easier for me to just produce content.
Oh my gosh, shut
Because
up.
it's really hard. Like
Yeah, and I wonder why the camera's on the bed. What kind of content do you produce? She has an OnlyFans. I wonder what the king size bed is for if it's just one person. Yeah.
If you don't have like a dedicated space in your home just for it, it's just really hard. But yeah, the systems. Because it's not about getting like that one hit, that one viral post, that one viral video, that one, I don't know, viral product, that one celebrity to endorse you. It's not about the virality or the just one-time successes, the one-time investments. It's just the system of doing something that's boring and repetitive over and over again that's going to eventually get you to the wealth, because then you're able to uphold it. Like, wealthy
What?
people do not just rely on lottery wins.
What? I don't know what the fuck she just said. I have no idea what she said. It doesn't matter. Jesus.
They rely on the systems to get there.
Okay.
Uh, there are definitely levels to wealth.
Oh God.
Education can get you there. You're going to have to take out a lot of loans. It's going to be so much money to pay them back. I have a friend who's a chiropractor, and he's like 300,000 in debt for his loans. I might have spoken about this before, because honestly, it keeps me up at night. It really does.
If you want to go to college, the only reason why you should go to college is because you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, some kind of, like rocket science, like some kind of science, astrobiologist, like you have to go to college for that. Engineer, it makes sense. You have to go to college, you know? But anything else, you don't have to go. Like if, you know, trade school is the way to go, because especially with AI, which is going to take AI is going to take, AI robots, blah, blah, blah. It's going to take most of our jobs away. Starting in liberal cities where they keep raising the minimum wage, and every time they raise the minimum wage, companies rely more on robots because it's cheaper. It's cheaper to build robots and AI technology than to pay a worker $20 an hour. Okay? So once again, doctor, lawyer, science, chemist, whatever, go to school. And if you have to take out the student loan, then I guess you have to take out the student loan. I mean, I don't know how else you would do it, but unless you get a scholarship, of course. But if you're gonna major in like Western lesbian history, you're wasting your money. Like if you're gonna major in something woke and stupid, don't just stop going to school, because that degree is going to be useless, and the only job you can get with that degree is teaching that class at that college. That's the only job you can get. I've seen people graduate because like you can make up your own major now. Like there's people who like major in TV history. Like why'd you do that? Even majoring in history is stupid, because you can you can learn about history by going to the public library and checking out books on the topic you want to study, because the only job you can get by being a history major is teaching history, or like being an advisor on, I don't know, like a movie set. Let's see if you like a has like a whatever, like a 15th century historian. I guess you get a job like on a period piece, but like there really is no work for you. So think about what you're gonna waste your money on before you waste your money, because being $300,000 in debt in student loans because you majored in trans, non-binary, lesbian ethics, well, that's on you.
I My loans, thankfully, will be gone in a year. I'm very happy to be at that point. But like his, I can't even imagine the interest. And I didn't even realize how powerful interest was until I realized that okay, somebody's loans compounding at $300,000. That's probably $1,000 a month in interest that you're going to have to pay back. But imagine if you had that $300,000 somewhere else where it's compounding interest positively and then going back to you. But yeah, the education, it will get you a degree in debt and it will open doors for you that you might not have had before, especially like within the medical field, within the law field. But the thing that's really going to get you your freedom is ownership. So that's for a doctor, that's owning your own practice, right? I don't know if that's the correct word for it.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut your mouth.
Or inventing something in the field. Like it's everything with true wealth has to do with ownership. So, whatever path you take, I think that's amazing. But to really take it to the next level, you're gonna still have to sell something.
Like the way you sell your vagina.
You don't need wealthy customers. You just need a good product.
She's talking about her pussy.
And using myself as an example, in the club, I do not need wealthy men. I just need men who are going to spend to buy my time or dance. It doesn't take wealth to do that. It just takes me creating a need for a feeling that I can provide. That was the next point too, just that you don't need to fix a problem. Because every time I look on just videos about creating wealth, everyone talks about, oh, you need to fix a problem. You don't necessarily need to fix a problem, you just need to fix a feeling. That feeling can be boredom, restlessness, people wanting escapism. You just need to fix a feeling. Because I feel like there's just two ways now, especially with everything with social media. It's like everything is now either you're...
Who the hell is paying her to strip? I still can't focus on what she's saying because I just can't believe that someone is paying her for these lap dances. I don't understand. Like the quality of women at these strip clubs must be pretty damn low. Right? There's one video where she looked really good, and that's when she wore her hair in a bun because the way her face is shaped, it actually made her, it just made her look really good. But I don't know who's paying for this. I don't understand. I mean, is she really a stripper? Is she just an actress and all this is fake? I have so many questions and I don't care enough to investigate, but
selling this one product or you're selling yourself as the product, and yourself as the product is not like you're just fixing problems by talking to someone. You can be educating people. You can also be entertaining them though. And I think I used to get stuck on that. Like, how is entertaining fixing a problem? But it's not fixing a problem. You're fixing a feeling.
oh my god. My brain hurts. Like oh god. You're a stripper. It's like she's trying to be Plato at the strip club. Like, come on, stop it.
Somebody who has something to prove is going to be the perfect customer in the club. Because someone who needs to prove that they're wealthy, they're just going to throw money at you. So if you can, kind of hit that little sore spot of them feeling, I guess, insecure, they're gonna try to prove themselves to you that much more, and it's gonna get money in your pocket. I think too, people have this misconception, and I used to when I was younger. I used to think honestly that there were two separate worlds for poor people and rich people, and you do have your gated communities, you have your private islands. But I used to think like, oh my god, when you're like famous, there's this like just land far, far away where all the rich people go and the poor people can't even get there. But it's so not true. And I think what I did not realize is that the people who are that wealthy, they're wealthy because they have things that are being made from very cheap systems. Like how I mentioned earlier about that man living in the penthouse at St. Regis. He was wealthy because he had cheap labor. Because I had this idea that people who were wealthy would only want to be associated with wealth, that they wouldn't want like, and I'm sure maybe you're sitting on the other side of this camera, like thinking about all the poor people who get screwed over and are paid minimum wage.
No, I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking you're a moron. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you have no idea what you're talking about, but you probably, I'm assuming you think you sound really smart right now, and you're just talking. And I also can't believe that it took 2 pages of notes to say all this bullshit. You took notes, and this is still bullshit. Like every time this chick uses notes, it's just bad. Every time, never fails. At least this time it's written in pen and not crayon.
But I'm just thinking from like a small business perspective, just that people would want the best of the best, not that they would be looking for the cheapest price or the best deal for everything. But yeah, that's how it goes. How that I've learned, wealthy people are actually very frugal. I'm surprised he's so quiet. Usually he's a little mess. But yeah, I wanted to touch back on the point about rich parents
Oh,
not making the children rich, because when I was in high school, I felt like such an oddball, and I don't feel like people were nice to me, but I also feel like I isolated myself too because I didn't feel like I fit. Um, but it's so satisfying now to see that me having to struggle for the last, because I was working too at 14. I had a job the whole time I was in high.
so let me guess, you were a stripper at the middle school club. Oh my god, she was an after-school stripper. She was a stripper at the teen center. Oh my god. Oh my god. Probably.
High school. I had two autistic siblings at home, so I was helping out with them a lot. I was doing a lot of babysitting. And then I was volunteering on on Saturdays, and then Sundays I went to church. Like I just had this very rigid schedule. I pray to God I'm never that busy again. That was not a good time at all. But I am glad that how much I struggled and went through as a child, that I can see it paying off now, because there were so many kids that I was with in that private high school whose parents had all.
What? So, the horrible childhood you had because you went to private schools. I have no words for you. Like, you need to take a step back and listen to what you're saying, and you're still not going to understand. But I just want you to take a step back and really hear what you're saying. Oh boy. Wow.
all the money in the world, who went off to the best colleges, who had like Mercedes and BMWs at like age 16, 15, honestly. At age 15, when they had their learner's permit, they had these nice ass cars that I did not have the access to. I remember my mom, she would drive me to school in a 15-year-old Mercedes station wagon. I remember in middle school too, this one guy, he said that like my mom was driving a hearse to pick me up. And I was very embarrassed of that. Same thing with my father. He drove like a 15-year-old BMW.
Yeah, because your parents were smart and they invested all their money in something important. She said she had two autistic siblings. Okay, well, that costs a lot of money. So you're going to waste money on a brand new car or help out your two children that are autistic, and you're sending your daughter to expensive private schools. She doesn't get it.
And looking back now, I think that was kind of stupid. I feel like my parents were always trying to play keeping up with the Joneses, because they really could have bought like a newer car that was not a Mercedes or a BMW, and it would have gotten the job done and it would have been so much more efficient, rather than buying this old brand name car that I got made fun of. But it is, oh God, it's so satisfying to see all the people that I went to high school with now feeling so directionless because they didn't have to work for what they were given. So some people are doing well, some people were raised right, but the majority of them, I like go back to their Instagrams and their last.
Well, the way you turned out, apparently you weren't raised right. Right? I mean, her childhood sounds great because, the parents were investing in her by, giving her a good education and taking her to church on Sunday. That sounds like they're invested in her. Plus the two autistic siblings. The parents sound like they were, really, really busy trying to help out these kids. And so the material things were like the last thing and the least important things on their mind. Like when you're, I've had, autistic satellites, they take a lot of work and effort, So like the last thing you're thinking about is like, oh man, I got to get a new car, you know?
Last post is from high school. So,
Yeah.
so nice. Because there was a time when it felt like everyone from high school found out I was a stripper and then was talking about me. So for me to feel like,
Well, they're probably shocked. Look at you. Who is paying for this? I'm just saying. The wall comes for everyone. I mean, especially if your life is based on your looks. I mean, if you're just a Joe Schmo, it doesn't matter.
I will be rich in the next 5 to 10 years. And for those same people to not know what the fuck they're doing.
My advice is stop comparing your life to other people and just focus on yourself. Your success is not based on other people's success or failures. Seriously. See, she is living life based on, oh well, in her Instagram post she's doing this. Well, I guess my life sucks. Like you can't live like that. But she is, and that's why she gives this bad advice.
It's the best revenge. It really is. But yeah, that's what the club has taught me about real wealth.
Yeah, that was horrible.
And what you get out the mud, no one can take from you.
That was horrible. That's just horrible advice. Okay, so I hope none of you actually listen to her advice and are gonna take it. Well, but you can't because you're not a stripper. See, she keeps forgetting that she's a stripper, so her advice only can maybe can maybe only strippers can take her advice. But a regular person can't use any of this advice. But she acts like regular people can take this advice, which is absurd. Anyway, I've said enough. You guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Peace out.